Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a match for you. On the left we've got Blissey Miltank, on the right Arceus Pikachu. We're going to roll off to see who starts, and it is going to go over to the Blissey player. So players are going to shuffle up the deck. That is me on the right and my girlfriend on the left. Just going to be a friendly game. We are heading to the London Open at Worlds in a few days. It might even be the day depending when this comes out. So yeah, we're just playing our decks, trying to get used to them a bit more. Obviously, it's been a few years out of the game, so it's good to get in matches, and we thought we'd bring them to you. So if this is something you want to see more of, make sure you like, subscribe to see more of it. Drop a comment, let us know some decks you want to see. But we're going to get into this one with some, with some cheeky cuts. We always make a joke about cutting each other's decks, but it's something you need to remember to do in the game, but it just feels weird. Or not even necessary when it's just us. And it's probably not, so it's become sort of a joke now. And thankfully, both players have got Pokemon. And we're going to dish out the prizes and get this one started. So, not a terrible start on either side. We've got the Greninja on the bench of the Blissey player. Going to help her discard energy, draw cards, and get the Blissey going quite quickly, depending on what she has in hand. Ideally, she wants an attach this turn, a discard with Greninja, and a pass. On the other side, we've got just the Pikachu. Again, another fairly good start if we've got like a quick ball or something, because Pikachu has free retreat, so it can just float back to the bench. It does look like we're going to see a quick ball here. Probably searching out a Miltank is pretty good in this matchup. Obviously, only having attackers. The only way around it in the deck, I think, is actually the Crobat with the poison. And even then, that's going to take a lot of turns. There's switch carts, there's just regular retreating. There's so many ways around it. And with a Cape of Toughness, the Miltank is super hard to take down. I know I've played it a ton of times. I did lose to it the first few times. I found a few ways around it now. Obviously, just watching my resources a bit better. But we'll see how we get on here. So that does look like a research early on. So not a great starting hand. We have found the Arceus, the really cool Alt Art Arceus or promo, and then we're going to quick ball and find a Pokemon. I would guess either a Crobat or a Bidoof seems good. Yeah, obviously we can set up the draw support next turn. We don't really need the Crobat. Ideally, we're not going to be using that to beat the Miltank. We're just going to boss around it. But we'll see how we get on here. And it is just the pass back. Normally you want to set up the Arceus to Trinity Charge onto the Pikachu. But in this case, we want the Pikachu up and going as quick as possible. Blissey can't do a ton of damage in the early turns, so we can afford to just attach and set it up. It does mean using the Turbo Energy, which is slightly less damage. It could come into this matchup, honestly. With the heals, I don't know. I think it's an okay call here. Obviously, it's a little more difficult for them to deal with. The Miltank and Blissey both being basic Pokemon. And we do see a Marnie, meaning they're going straight to the bottom. And we're going to see what we get here. Path hasn't hit play yet, so I would say it's still on the side of the Arceus player. Obviously, having an Evo Incense, an Ultra Ball, or the Pokemon itself, there's probably 10 different outs to this. So, yeah, this is... It's not going great. We do see a discard there from the Greninja at least to get some energy in the discard so she can start to set up on the Blissey. But it's going to be a weird one. It feels like both players have a bad matchup here. I think maybe the Arceus slightly worse. It depends on the Blisseys you put in play, really. In this case, we've got two. We've got the Greninja for the 5th prize. So, yeah, we can't really win the game at the moment. But then again, saying that, they can't hit through the Pikachu, so yeah, it's a bit back and forth. It's going to take some tactical plays with bosses, maybe escape ropes and Miltanks at the right time or wrong time, depending on which player you are. We are going to find... That's another quick ball, so I think she does run to Miltank. Another Blissey seems okay, but it does mean I then have 6 prizes on the board. And it's just going to be attack and attachment, and it's back over to the other player. Ideally here we want to see some evolve, so we want to see the Bibarel, we want to see the Arceus VStar, and ideally the Pikachu VMAX, or Flying Pikachu I should say. Although, unfortunately, it is just a quick ball. Obviously, we can grab a Crobat to draw more cards, but it is looking like we're bricking out with our hand slightly here. So it is going to be the Crobat. Hopefully, draw some more cards. Considering first turn we had the Research, second turn a Crobat, we're drawing through everything we don't need at the minute. And we'll see how we get on here. We're going to get... Oh, so we have got the Evo Incense. It's just thinning the hand slightly to draw some more cards. I'm going to grab the Arceus VStar. Like I say, no path in play currently, so we are able to use our Starbirth ability. But we'll see. So it's going to be Crobat first to draw 5 cards, I think. So we might see what we need here. And then we can VStar to go grab what we need. Not looking like there's much to play. Okay, so there's another Evo Incense. Obviously the Pikachu or Bibarel. I think it doesn't really matter too much. Obviously we've got Starbirth coming up, which we might as well do here as well. We've got a few more cards to play, it looks like. So we've got an Ultra Ball away, an Ultra Ball and a Quick Ball. Not really needing much now as we've got all of our Pokemon set up. And we can grab the Bibarel and draw a ton of cards here, which is always good. Just thinking if I want to go back in. So I'm going to Starbirth, okay. Not really sure what I need here. And an energy for the Pikachu seems good. Other than that, maybe some energy for the following turns. Maybe a boss in case Miltank comes up. It's a difficult one. Didn't actually see what I grabbed there. I know I did get the turbo. So just shuffling the deck there. It looks like the attachment for turn. And I think it is just a turbo. So just energy. And we're going to attack with Pikachu, who's going to do 140 because of the turbo, plus 30 for the choice belt. 170 is pretty good. That is a 2-hit knockout into Blissey. So if she can't find any healing here, it is going to be an early lead. The extra card from the Lucky Energy there. So let's see what the Blissey player has in return. It's going to be Greninja early to draw 2 cards. Although it doesn't look like she's found what she needs. Another energy onto the Blissey in the active. And I'm not sure how much damage is that going to be. It's not going to be enough. But there is the boss. So Arceus is going to come into the active. It's not quite going to be enough for a knockout. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 150. Minus 20 is 130. 140. I think. Is that a double? Just double checking the math here. Either way, it's not enough to take a knockout. So if we can hit a Sharon's Care here. Although saying that, it might have been a Sharon's I grabbed last turn. So if I already have it in hand, I am some kind of psychic. Let's see what we get here. So we're going to evolve to the Crobat. I'm not sure on that one. And it is going to be the Sharon's. That's devastating. That's going to put the Blissey player back massively. Obviously, they're going to run 3 or 4 of these. And maybe even a Power Pad. So it could not matter in the long run. But yeah, that's kind of painful. It does mean they're going to lose the Blissey now as well. Going to attach a Turbo to Arceus. Finally decided. And then we're going to Industrious Incisors for some extra cards here. Not sure what we're looking for. We're going to path ourselves. It does turn off Greninja, so hurts the card draw of the Blissey player. And then we're going to swing in for the knockout. That is going to be some extra cards from the Lucky Energy there. But obviously that is a 2-prize lead here. And the fact that we've taken the early lead with Arceus does put us in a good position here. I can't see how... Obviously the Miltank can stall for a while the Blissey sets up. But I don't think we've seen a boss from the Arceus player yet. So I do think that's going to have a massive impact. That's going to be how we win the game here. And if another Blissey hits the bench, there's definitely ways to do that. There is a ton of cards being drawn from Lucky Energies and just regular draw. So the Blissey player is flying through their deck. Just looking at the decks now, it does look like there is a much bigger stack on the Arceus side. But I don't know how important that's going to be. Again, the Arceus player doesn't really need to play any cards now. They've got set up, so There's a few win conditions here, neither of which are the design of the deck. Obviously, the Arceus deck isn't designed to win on deck outs or anything like that, but I could see it happening. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting turn here. So it looks like Zinnia's Resolve has been played. A few cards discarded, and the player is going to draw 5 cards from that. This is maybe leading into that deck out scenario. It's not looking great on the Blissey player's side. They've not really got what they need in play. They need to be attacking and setting up quickly. Once a Blissey is set up with a ton of energy and they can take one-hit knockouts, I think the game is theirs. It's just getting that going. It can be so difficult. You need your healing at the right time. We are going to see a Hisuian Heavy Ball here, searching through the cards and the prizes and finding out another Blissey. Okay, so that's all the Blissey now, and that's going to get shuffled into there. It's a difficult situation. I don't know if the second Blissey on the bench is a good idea here. Obviously, it means I can take my 6 prizes. I've got 2 bosses left. Although, saying that, I haven't got anything to one-hit KO anything, so this could be a difficult matchup. We're going to see the evolve into a VStar and an energy attached to the Crobat. Okay, we can attack into the Miltank, which is good. And we're going to see a Marnie, obviously a huge hand after that Zinnia's for the Blissey player. Good time to Marnie. So we're going to see some cards drawn on both sides. Ideally, the Arceus player is just digging for the boss here, and we are just going to attack and pass. Always awkward in this stage. Obviously, the Miltank can just attack, does no damage. Pikachu can attack, does no damage. And you're basically waiting for a boss or an escape rope, something like that. Like here, we're just looking, is there any switch cards left? How many bosses have been used? It's all important stuff to keep an eye on. So if you are new to the game, that's definitely something to do. Always check discards. Know what you've got left in your deck. Know as much as you can of what your opponent has left, so there's no nasty surprises along the way. It's coming to a stalemate here. Somebody's going to need to find something to take a few prizes, because as it looks currently, although the slight lead on the Arceus side, we're going to see a switch card here, meaning the Blissey comes into play. And it's going to get to make an attack and set up some energy. With a ton of energy in a discard, we could see it take control of this game here. That's going to be 4 energy. And then the following turn, if she can hit some heals, she can hit a boss, this could easily turn around quickly. There is a ton of stuff on the bench. There are 2 VMAXs, so this could be a very quick game. Depending what they get, obviously. We're going to see some cards being drawn here off the research. They did get rid of a boss there. I don't know if that was... Could have maybe held that hand. Would have maybe been the better call there. If they run Palpad, I think it's fine, but I don't know if they do. I don't think they do. You can find all the deck lists below if you do want to check on any of the decks. And that is going to be a swing from the Blissey into Pikachu. Obviously dealing no damage, but she does get 3 energy from the discard pile. In return, the Crobat is going to attach an energy. Just set up in case we do actually need to attack into Miltank, so it just doesn't wall us out. Obviously, once all the switches are gone, most people don't even play 4. I think this deck does have 4 in it. But once they are gone, we can start to pull stuff up and poison it with Crobat. So we do have a win condition if it gets that late in the game. But this Blissey is looking like a monster now. And it's going to be very difficult to deal with. Obviously, we attack there. We can deal damage. But if they can get a heal and a boss this turn, then we are in a rough spot. This could easily switch around very quickly. And let's see what happens here. We need to see a heal and a boss to make this work. Another energy. I think that's a powerful energy going down. Okay, so we do see another switch card onto the Blissey. So that's going to heal some damage and put the Miltank back up. Obviously, that means there's no boss in hand, which is unfortunate. It does mean they can wall again for a few turns until they find what they need. And we're going to see a Hyper Potion onto the Blissey to heal the rest of that damage. So it's like nothing happened pretty much. Only, I think it's 20 damage left. And there's a few energies gone there. The Blissey is back to normal, but with a few more energies, so it's looking good. The Miltank can hold its position for a while. So we could see this swing round. If they're just manually attached to the Blissey, they can get it powered up enough to take a one-hit knockout on a VMAX. And that's where the game turns. And it's just going to be a pass. So the Miltank is going to sit there and hold its position. The question here is it worth bossing up a a Blissey and hitting into it? They can retreat easy, they can heal easy. Let's see what the Arceus player decides to do. It looks like there is a boss in hand. And there it is. So the boss onto the Blissey. We are going to get the Power Pad straight after to shuffle, I think, 2 bosses back into the deck. Which is exactly what that player needs. So everything's worked out. None of the bosses were prized. None of the Power Pads were prized. Oh, the one-off Power Pad. So I think this might be in the Arceus player's favour now. It's going to be an uphill battle for the Blissey player here, and that is going to be Pikachu swinging in again. Obviously, with no boss. The Lucky Energy is going to draw some cards here. Fingers crossed it's what they need. It does look like maybe a boss in hand, so that's the Powerful Energy down. If they can heal, I think they can just attack into Pikachu and attach enough energy and then boss next turn. I definitely see a boss in hand. So yeah, I think they're safe just attacking as long as they're not knocked out. It could be a boss this turn, but again, if they can't take the knockout. So, okay, the boss is going down. And Crobat is coming into the active. Crobat can poison and retreat, so it's not terrible. And then we're going to see a big chunk of damage onto the Crobat here. The thing about attacking into like a Crobat or a Pikachu is the damage can't be healed. So that's definitely your targets in this matchup. We saw earlier the Arceus being Sharoned. And it's back over to the other player. So now that is 3. Oh, that is a lot of energy. That is 8 energy. So that's 240, 250. Plus so that's 300 damage at the minute. They need 1 more energy attachment. So that Marnie could be huge here. If they can get the attachment, they can take a knockout on anything. Obviously not the Pikachu if it's attacked, but using bosses and other things, they can get around it. I don't think this list runs Tornadus, which might be a tech in that they use. I think it might be worth adding, honestly. We've seen it used to great effect already in the NAIC. So it looks like the Crobat is just going to attack and retreat here. So the Blissey is poisoned. I'm not really sure about that because I'm sure they could have retreated into the Pikachu and taken the knockout there. But also now the Pikachu doesn't have its defense up. So if one of those are pulled up, it could be knocked out here. That is definitely a misplay there. You always want to try and keep the Pikachu wall up because that's what's keeping you safe in this matchup. So if we see a boss here, this game could turn. This is why I love the Pokemon game. There's so many little small moments where if played wrong or not perfectly, a game can just turn on its head. So we're going to see the Turbo and Hyper Potion there, which is going to heal some damage off, meaning Blissey is in a good spot here. It depends. We might see a boss here. I can't see one in hand. Although I do see a Tool Scrapper, which is going to mean a lot less damage coming into the Blissey. 140 is no longer going to 2-hit KO them, so the Pikachus are looking less and less likely. This is going to be interesting. I don't know which way this is going to go. It should still be in the favour of the Arceus player. They've got a ton of stuff set up. But if we see a boss now, this could definitely swing. So the Tool Scrapper is going to come down. And we're going to lose both Choice Belts. So the Pikachus are going to be slightly slower at knocking out the Blissey. It's now a 3-hit KO, which you don't want to see. That does mean Arceus is going to have to come into play to help clean stuff up. Although it's protected against the Pokemon, the Blissey, the Miltank, so we could see it stalled out here. Currently the Bidoof is just trapped in the active, but I'm sure we've got a switch or something in hand, else it wouldn't have been placed there. At least I hope so. Tough decision here for the Blissey player. They are going to switch cart. Again, probably not got the boss they need, so they're just going to stall it out. And the turn has passed, yeah. So not much happening that turn again for the Blissey player. I do feel like maybe some bad luck on her side. Obviously not seeing the bosses when she needs to. On some crucial turns. And that is going to be the third energy onto the Crobat. So it can now hit for 180, which is a 2-hit knockout. I don't know if it's really worth using that and risking potentially being knocked out. Obviously the Pikachu is a lot stronger position as it can't be hurt by basic Pokemon. The Bibarel does come out. Just a quick look through the deck. Again, another tip if you're a new player. Always look through your deck. Always know what you've got in there. Always know what you're missing. Obviously with 6 prizes to the side, or 4 in this case at the minute. We don't know 4 of those cards, but you can easily work that out by looking through your deck when you're searching. And what we're going to see here, it looks like a boss. Or it looks like I'm asking about the bench at least. And we're going to Industrious Incisors for 5, is that? It doesn't look like we've got anything else in hand, so this could be a big swing. Obviously we need a turbo or a switch or escape rope here. And if we don't hit that, we could be in some trouble. It is just a manual attach of the darkness energy. It does mean if we draw one next turn, we can retreat. And a pass back. You will notice the Blissey player's deck and the Arceus deck now are looking kind of thin. This is when it's going to become difficult. You need bosses at the right time. You need attacks set up at the right time. And we see another Hyper Potion on Blissey. This could easily swing here. If she can find the boss as well to pull up a Pikachu or a Crobat. There's going to be 2 energies gone there. And it's just the attack into the Bibarel. So that's the first prize for the Blissey player. Again, not having what they need when they need it. And in return, the Arceus player doesn't have a knockout. There's nowhere they can... They don't have enough damage. The only downside of this deck is its damage is so low. So against something like a Blissey, against Stonjourner, stuff like that, it just can't do the damage it needs to. It's why I've been preferring playing the Mewtwo variant. It means you can take those one-hit knockouts when needed to. But it depends on the format. Like if there's a ton of healing stuff, obviously things like Mewtwo, things like Gengar, stuff that can take the one-hit knockouts are going to be preferred. But I think in the current game, they're just not popular enough to warrant it, which is why we've gone for this variant. And it is just going to be an attack from the Pikachu. And we are back where we were. So that boss is massively disruptive here. It does mean that they're stuck in the active. I don't think they have any more switch carts. I think that's what we saw before of player looking through their discard. Which does mean this Blissey is either going to have to manually retreat, which is going to take a long time. It is 4 energy, so it's not really going to... So yeah, it's just an attack into the Pikachu, attach some energy, and probably get knocked out this turn, honestly. But there's not many other options. It does mean the other Blissey is going to come up into the active and then take a big knockout. Again, I don't think this is a good decision. Retreating and attacking with someone else when you need the protection from the Pikachu is not the right call here. This could result in the Blissey taking this game. Obviously, they don't need the boss now. They can just knock out the Arceus. If they can get enough energy, they could just boss up a Pikachu. And then they are actually in the lead. So this game is swinging around here. So a couple more prizes there. You will notice I've just drawn a Peony. The reason for that is, like I said, I've been testing the Mewtwo V-Union with this Arceus deck. I do really like it, honestly. I really like the V-Union in more aggressive decks. But I've obviously forgot to switch that. That should be, I think, another Darkness Energy. But not massively important here. I think it's okay. It's not going to play into this one. And we do see the Pikachu come up here. That does mean there's going to be enough energy for a knockout. That's a lot of energy. That is a lot of energy. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I think it's 9, 10. Yeah, so that's 300, 360, 370 minus 20, 350 damage. One hit KO on the Pikachu. And this is what I mean. I can't knock this out next turn. I don't have a Pikachu set up. At this point, I am in a world of pain. I could boss stuff up and stall, which it looks like there's only like 4 or 5 cards left on the Blissey side, which it might be the only way I win this now. Most of my energy is in play or in the discard. I have no way of recovering it. Arceus can't Trinity Charge or set up a Pikachu because, like I say, all the energy is gone. It's in the discard. It's on my Pokemon. We are going to see a Raihan here, which is going to attach to the Pikachu. So if we have a Turbo in deck, that's a huge turn. It swung back in the Arceus player's favour. If that wasn't in there, this game would probably be done, honestly. And that's going to be the attack, 140 into the Blissey. Like I say, it doesn't one-hit KO it, but we do have an Arceus now set up. We've got a Crobat, meaning we can take it out next turn. We're going to see the Hisuian Heavy Ball just to drag it out slightly longer. But I think that might be game. I don't see any way out of this. They could retreat into the Miltank, but like I say, they've got fewer cards, which I think both players have just realised. They're just sort of looking through their decks now, seeing if they're missing anything important. But yeah, there we go. And I think that is game. A very close fought contest. It's just going to finish out here. There's not much the Blissey player can do at this point. They can't stall it out. Obviously, the Arceus player with a lot more cards. That is how this one is going to end. Like I say, if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more of it, make sure you subscribe. Leave a like, a comment on any decks you want to see next. That's all I've got for this one though, so I will catch you in the next one.